So, welcome everyone. And tonight we're talking about problem solving like pro. Now, if you're new here, I'm Nichola McLeod. I'm a coach, a mentor, and a team builder, and I just love supporting people to reach their full potential. We've got over 25 years' experience in business, as a senior executive in the corporate world, but also as an entrepreneur. Now, before we kick off, I'm going to take a quick draw poll. So, yeah, straight off the mark, I'm going to ask you to type something in the chat for me. So, how do you normally react when a problem shows up? Seeing as we're talking about problem solving tonight. Now, I've given you four options in case your mind's gone blank. So, how do you normally react? Do you panic? Do you totally ignore it? Do you jump straight into overthinking it, or do you try and fix it? If you've got an option that's none of those, feel free to pop your own option in the chat or in the comments, whatever works best for you. But I'm looking just to take that straw poll as we begin to see where it is that you're putting yourself. Do you panic? Like, massive problem. Do you ignore it? You know that, like, I'm just going to pretend it's not there and carry on with my world, and hopefully when I turn back, it's going to have disappeared. Do you go into complete overthinking, right inside of your head, thinking about every different way that you could possibly solve it? Or do you jump in with both feet and just try and fix it straight away? We've got fixers. Have a think about it first before trying to fix it. Try to fix it. This is good starting. So I pulled up this quote because I thought it was brilliant. We can't solve problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. And I'm thinking sometimes here that it's not necessarily an external problem. Sometimes we're the creators of these problems. I love the fact, have a good old moan if needed, then breathe and try and solve it. Seem to be on a theme here. So we're going to have a look at some problem solving energy types, right? So this, I want you to have a little reflection, maybe a bit of a giggle, have a look at this framework and think about when you've got different kind of problems, whether they're external or whether it's a problem that you've created for yourself, what it is that you tend to do, okay? So we've got our fixer, and I've picked Bob the Builder for this one because I think, the builder jumps in without thinking and fixes it straight away. We've also got our analyzer, somebody who needs all of the information before they can even think about doing something. We've got our avoider, that person that finds something else to do entirely. And then we've got the helper or the rescuer, the person who's going to solve everyone else's problems instead of their own. Being aware of which of these we are, or if we're thinking about people that we're working with, which of them the person you're working with is. Which one are you? And which one would you like to be? So let's take a little bit of a deep dive into the fixer. I said they jump in without thinking about it. Let's just sort it and sort it now. Now, their traits are someone who's really fast acting, super practical, hates delays or indecision. Fixers can often jump in before fully understanding what the issue is and feel super proud that they've handled it. Now, some of the strengths that come with Fixer is that they're decisive and they're action orientated. They're really good in a crisis and they keep things moving along. Unfortunately, weaknesses may actually miss out on the root cause because they rushed. They can bulldoze the people's input. And they can often solve a symptom and not the underlying problem. So, a real growth tip to somebody who tends to be a fixer, and I'm going to fess up and say, like, I spend most of my time in this area, okay? You need to pause before acting, Nichola. Ask what's actually going on here. Learn to sit in that discomfort a little while. Clarity will come in that pause. And there's a really good technique that we're going to look at in a while called the 5 whys that's going to avoid superficial fixes. It's a really good question that you can ask yourself if you tend to be a fixer. What would happen if you took 24 hours before acting? Sounds like hell on earth to me. The analyzer. I just need to think it through again. Now, analyzers love clarity. They love order. They love systems. They tend to overthink. They need perfect information before they can act. Paralysis is quite common with the analyzer. Now, their strengths are they're excellent at spotting risks and connections. They tend to be deep thinkers and they plan thoroughly. Flip side, it's a weakness. They tend to struggle to start. They get stuck in these what ifs and they have a huge fear of failure or of being imperfect. Now, if any of that resonates with you, a growth tip is to try and adopt an experimental mode, progress over perfection. And I've got a really good technique that I can share with you. Some things that you can do if you tend to be that analyzer is set time limits. I've got 10 minutes to think and then I need to decide. We've got another technique that I'm going to share with you. Ladder down, ladder up. That's great at chunking the next steps out and can really help analyzers, okay? We've got the avoider. Maybe it will sort itself out. Now, avoiders tend to feel overwhelmed or even afraid of the outcome, so they delay or they distract or even deflect sometimes. They hope that it's all going to go away, or maybe somebody else might step in and solve the problem. Now, as strengths, these people are often emotionally really, really intuitive. They can be super calm under pressure once they've engaged, and they're actually looking for peace. They don't want to rock the boat. But unfortunately, this trait means that avoidance will make that problem grow bigger. And anxiety can tend to build when you're not doing anything. And this can lead to trust breaking down with other people. I'll definitely say starting small, addressing one tiny problem at a time. Like there's loads of mini journaling things that you can do. What's one thing that I can do right now that'll make a difference? Reframing that way of avoiding fear and asking, what is it that I'm really afraid of? Starting with 5-minute actions just to build that confidence. I guess I'd ask, what are you pretending not to know or deal with? And then we've got our helper. Now, this is the other one that really resonates with me. Let me sort yours before I deal with mine. Now, these people are super empathetic, they're supportive, they thrive when others are okay. The helper tends to put everybody else first, often ignoring or even minimizing their own challenges. Now, as strengths, these guys are fantastic team players. They build deep loyalty and trust, and they're quite intuitive problem solvers for other people. Flip side, they tend to neglect personal issues. There's a real risk of burnout. And there's kind of a resentment that builds if efforts aren't returned. A good thing to ask somebody who loves to help. Would I advise a friend to just ignore this? You can also work on scheduling problem solving time just for you, not for anyone else. I'm trying to balance service with boundaries. Something that I would say to somebody in this space, where in your life are you the one who needs help right now? Big questions. Do any of those resonate with you? As you heard, I called out two that really resonate with me. So I'm not saying you have to pop yourself into one box. I tend to leap in first or go and help other people. Um, that's me. What about you? What do you love? Now, we all face problems, from tech issues to confidence wobbles, from what to post online to having to have a tricky conversation with somebody. But here's the truth: the people who succeed long term are not the ones with the fewest problems. They're the ones with the best tools to handle them. And tonight, I'm going to show you several powerful techniques to turn any challenge into a stepping stone. Whether you're running a business, building up your confidence, or just juggling life, these tools are going to help you. Now, like everything that I share, it will take practice, it will take repetition, but it really does work. I only share things that I've tried myself and put into practice, okay? So let's start by acknowledging something important. Problem solving is hard, okay? The reason why it's hard is a number of different things that actually happen, sometimes without us knowing. And the first one is called emotional flooding. When we're stressed, logic shuts down and we tend to spiral. The logical part of our brains, prefrontal cortex, it just takes a back seat. Emotions take the wheel, and suddenly every huge problem feels huge. Now, you might be thinking, oh, that never happens to me. So I want you to think, have you ever had a tech issue right before a deadline? And I'm saying, like, you're just about to go live with a Zoom and the internet doesn't work, or you need to leave the house in 2 minutes. You need to print something quickly, and of course, the printer's jammed. Printer doesn't want to do anything. Go to start the car and the car doesn't start. Thinking about something like that when you've got a tight deadline. That's emotional flooding, when your brain is literally hijacking the situation and you're no longer in that calm space. Okay. The other one, so we've got emotional flooding, overthinking. We convince ourselves that we're being thorough sometimes. And actually, we're just really stuck. What ifs are the enemy of action. Overthinking so often comes disguised as being thorough, but it usually just needs to stagnation. And this is where I've got this post-it note from, right? Perfectionism is just fear in high heels. And I think that that is a brilliant, brilliant saying. Avoidance is another reason why problem solving can be really hard. We busy ourselves instead of facing the real issue. Most people know what the real issue is, but secretly hope it's going to go away. Spoiler alert, it won't. Talk about how it is, conversation with yourself. Procrastination's often just avoidance being dressed up as being busy. Two more reasons why problem solving can be difficult. Rigid thinking. Sometimes we convince ourselves that there's only one way. Believing there's only one way to fix something. And it often leads us to give up when that path doesn't work. Then your brain is super creative. Let it be messy, because that is where the gold is. Excuse me. And lastly, fear of being wrong. So often we'd rather stay stuck and make the wrong move. Many people don't move forward because they fear failure or judgment, or what if it's just a waste of time? The cost of staying stuck is always going to be higher. I found another quote that really resonates with me on this one. Clarity comes from engagement, not thought. Again, do you recognize yourself in any of those things? I think I probably go through all of those at some point or another with different kind of problems. Here's the good news though. Once you do get better at problem solving, everything gets easier. Yeah, I'm hoping you can see the slides. Can you not, Karen? It's always a pause.
I think they've just come on again. I think it was stuck after the high heel one.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. I'd much rather we checked, though. Thank you. Yeah, so things do get easier. Okay. The reason that they get easier once you start practicing different techniques is that you're going to be more confident, more resourceful. You're going to become more self-reliant. Basically, that means there's less, I don't know what to do kind of energy around you. You're also going to find that people trust you a bit more in life, in work, even in leadership. You'll be able to make decisions faster. You get time back because of that. No more stewing on things for days or hours. You also become less stressed. You'll be surprised how much your stress level reduced dramatically, and you stop reacting and start responding. This skill literally puts time back in your day and calm back in your mind. Being good at problem solving isn't about being clever. It's about being calm, curious, and consistent. That's what makes life simpler. So let's have a look at some really juicy strategies that will support you in becoming just that. So the first one, the 5 whys technique, this was developed by Toyota to find the root of all their manufacturing issues, okay? But it actually works for any problem. It's a problem-solving approach that uses repetitive questioning to uncover the root cause of an issue. It's really quite simple, honestly, but ever so effective. It helps you to understand the underlying reason behind a problem. It leads to the better solution, prevents the same problem happening again and again. So how does it work? I did say it was simple, okay? Ask why 5 times to peel back the layers, which is why you have a picture of an onion. The key is to go beyond your surface level answer, find the root cause. So I'm going to give you an example of how this works, right? I am going to be talking to myself while I give this example, but I'm sure that you can play along. So the problem, my content on social media isn't getting engagement. Why? Well, because I don't post regularly. Why? Because I don't feel motivated. Why? I'm not sure my content really matters. Why? I'm doubting myself. Why? I don't know if people are really listening. So you go through all of those whys, and suddenly you realise that the real issue is self-doubt, not consistency. If you focus your energy on building up your confidence, then this particular issue is going to resolve itself. Most problems aren't what they first appear to be. Now, this technique is absolutely perfect for the fixers amongst us. So those people who want to jump in straight away and fix everything, This is really good for that, okay? Asking yourself the 5 whys. And the second one, reframing the problem. So this is about shifting the question so that you see the situation differently, okay? Let me give you some classic reframings, okay? Why is this happening to me? You're just going to shift that question. What is this trying to teach me? How do I fix this? Reframe that to what opportunity is this creating? I'll give you an example that you might actually use. I'm not getting enough customers. That's the problem. Reframing that into how can I make my offer impossible to ignore? You're kind of thinking old question, better question to give you clarity. Changing that lens changes the solution. And this is great for the avoiders amongst us, because if you think about how do I fix this? I don't know, I'm going to avoid, to what opportunity is this creating? That sounds like a lot more fun to actually tackle than how do I fix this when the answer is I don't know. Number 3, ladder up, ladder down. Sometimes we're either too zoomed in or too zoomed out. Zooming in and out, depending on where you are, can really help you to see something that's missing. So ladder down, you're just going to break it down to just the next action. Ladder up, you're going to zoom out, see the bigger picture. So let's say that you're feeling overwhelmed about a big launch. You want to ladder down, okay? You're right at the top of the ladder, seeing the bigger picture, and it's overwhelming. Go down that ladder, zoom in, and break it down into the one small next step. Know how to launch my business. You just go down that ladder and think about what's the one task that you can complete in the next 30 minutes. Let's do an opposite of that, okay? And you want to zoom out to see the bigger goal or the purpose. When you're perhaps avoiding something, not getting on with something, zoom right out and go, so why does this matter to me? Where does this fit in the bigger picture? Go back to your why, to your goal, to what it is that you're actually doing, to find that inner motivation to deal with the problem that you're facing. This technique is really helpful if you're either stuck in the weeds or too overwhelmed with the bigger picture. You just need to identify which it is and do the opposite. Perspective really is everything. And this is a great technique for the analysts out there, okay? So if you're stuck in too much detail, zoom right out. Give yourself a different perspective. See how fast you can move on. Number 4, WWYD. What would you do? Ask someone you admire what they would do. Or even better, ask your future self who's already solved it. The reason why this works is it gives you a bit of emotional distance and activates more creative problem solving. It might seem silly, but hey, so's doing nothing, or so's helping somebody else, or so's analysing something. So, do you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound. Think about, like, what would Oprah do? What would Sarah do? What would future me who earns 10K a month do? What would I do if I wasn't scared? Channel the version of you who's already figured this out. It really does remove the emotion and lets you access logic and creativity. Try this next time you might be stuck in analysis paralysis. This is superb for the helpers amongst us, okay? Number 5, experiment mode. And this is fun, right? This is about shifting from needing the perfect solution to treat everything like a test. Now, I definitely grew up as a perfectionist. It was drummed in for me from an early age that only the very best was ever recognised. And it took me years to break out of that perfectionist mold. My God, things like this experiment mode can really, really help. The reason why this is so powerful is it removes the fear of failure. If it's just an experiment, you can't lose, you can only learn. So instead of waiting to create that perfect Facebook post, I'm going to post 5 things this week and how they work. Can't go wrong, can I? Because I wasn't looking for perfection. I tried 5 different ideas, see which one worked. Please don't overcommit to one perfect plan. Instead, treat everything like a little test. Try the post, launch the idea, say the thing. Your success is in your learning. Your failure will also be a learning. No matter what, you will grow, and that has to be a win. Move fast, tweak often, and grow smarter. This is a superb technique for the analysts out there. Just experiment, gather data, and experiment some more. And our 6th and final technique is problem isn't the problem. Huh? Now, this is a great technique for our avoiders out there, okay? Grab a piece of paper, write down in the middle what your current problem is, and then ask yourself, what assumptions am I making here? And write those down. Then ask yourself, what might I not be seeing? Write them down. What would I do if I wasn't afraid? Write them down. You don't have to share what you've written down, but it may well surprise you how quick you can come up with the answers by yourself. Journaling is a great technique, but I often think if you're sat there with a blank page, it can be really difficult to know what to write. And I always find things like this, drawing like the circles and putting things inside them, just makes you feel like you're doing much better. I was thinking about the different things that people say to us when we've got problems that I don't think are particularly helpful. Just don't think about it. Ignore it, it'll go away. Sleep on it. It's much, much better to take a pause, figure out exactly what the problem is, choose one of the tools that I've just shared with you and act. Here's some examples just to help you. I can't fix the problem because I don't know what the root cause is. Great. Try the 5 whys to dig down a little bit deeper. Just feel completely overwhelmed in this moment. Great. Use that ladder up to come out of the detail and see what the bigger picture is. I'm scared to act. What if I get it wrong? Jump yourself into experiment mode. You'd be really surprised at what you can come up with if you've got permission to experiment away. So, of all those different techniques that I shared, tell me the one that you're the most curious to try. Is there a problem that you're going to tackle differently now? Type it in the chat box for me. You really don't need to know all of the answers. You just need the tools to stay curious, to stay calm, and to keep on moving. You've put together completely free problem detox checklist for you. To get hold of it, all you need to do is drop me an email at nichola@beautyofsuccess.co.uk. Don't forget to put an H in the Nichola, Nichola, otherwise it won't come through to me. And our very next session is called Your Inner CEO, which will be next Monday at 7:30. I really hope that you enjoyed this session. Drop me some words in the chat while I have a quick drink and clear my throat because I've got a right frog in it. I'm always interested to know what you think. Which of these techniques stood out to you? Have you tried any of them before? What did you feel? What did you think? Is there one that really makes you think, oh, I wouldn't mind giving that a try?